Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1:01 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Wednesday, May 11th, 2022. I don't think that's a special day. There's a lot of special days in May, like May the 4th, Revenge of the 5th. Well, I guess the May 1st is that like NSYNC Day, right? Is that NSYNC? Yeah. But then is that it? There's no more special May days? Today's May the 11th. I don't think that's anything. But it's a Wednesday, and it's a beautiful day here in Chicago. Welcome to everyone listening in on the live stream. On the podcast, and the audio-only version. Hopefully you're having a good run out there today. For me, it was hot. It was very hot. Overall, in the big scheme of things, not that hot. But going from running in gloves just a few days ago to like running in like half tights and a singlet and wishing that I had no shirt on and maybe some split shorts. It's quite a big difference, and I'm just not acclimated to it yet. So today's workout was a tough one, but I did run in the Metaspeed Sky Plus today, and so that kind of made it all a lot better. Although the workout kicked my butt. Anyway, hopefully you guys are out there having a good time and not getting too overheated. Everyone watching on YouTube later in the day, hopefully you're at a nice relaxing point in your evening. Maybe you're folding some laundry. Maybe you're putting some groceries away. Hopefully you're just being nice and productive while being entertained a little bit. All right, let's see who we got in the chat. We got that running guy here. What's going on? He says evening, afternoon, and morning, everyone. Yeah, I think that's fitting depending on the time zone in which you're watching. Perfect. Jonathan Crossley says, happy hump day all. What's going on, Jonathan? And Sean says, hey, everyone. Had a decent 8 miles on a perfect, cool spring morning. Summer's heat coming to Massachusetts in the weekend. There you go. Awesome. I wish it were a little bit more gradual here, but we are in very typical Midwest fashion. We're going from like winter to summer and like no spring. Although I think next week we're supposed to actually have like normal temperatures and spring-like conditions. So that'll be interesting to see next week. Although, of course, as soon as we get like normal-ish weather here in the Midwest, I'll be leaving. So I'm going to be heading next week, not this weekend, but next weekend I'll be heading to New York, or mainly New Jersey. I'll be spending mostly I'm going to spend time with my family, my parents, but also I'm going to sneak out for a little bit to go and hang out with Ben Parks. I thought he already had his plane tickets booked, but the video that I just watched, he was just like, I just decided to buy plane tickets. So he booked his plane tickets, so he's in for sure. So I'll be checking out some Prospect Park running. I don't think I've ever been to Prospect Park before, so I'm really looking forward to that. All right, we got Mark Chankoko saying greetings from O-Town. Calix, greetings from H-Town. Love it. And JC says, hello. I don't know what the record for most days in the 90s is for the month of May, but we may break it here in Dallas-Fort Worth this year. Oh, boy. Oh, man. Yeah, I feel like Texas has been getting some really weird temperature swings. Not like so drastic as it is in like quick succession as it here is in the Midwest, but like, you guys had like the winter freeze where like the grid went down. I guess that wasn't that recent. It seems like it was just a little while ago. Now you guys are getting all this unseasonable heat. Oh, hang in there, guys. Brandon said, how's it going, everyone? Didn't get a run in today. Had to fix my AC. Ooh. First things first. You got to take care of that, So good day to get it in. Jonathan says, is it Memorial Day in the U.S.? No, it's not Memorial Day. Memorial Day is not till the end of the month. I'm just double checking. Because Memorial Day is, my wife and I got married years ago on Memorial Day weekend. So like, it's my reminder. We picked a 3-day weekend for it. So it's like my reminder every year. So when you said, is it Memorial Day? I started to panic. I was like, oh boy, did I forget? I don't think I've ever forgotten the anniversary, so I'm feeling good about that. Jason says, hi everyone, got a conference call in 28 minutes. Took the Kofuzi hat for a spin in the heat yesterday. Also, I was out at noon, and the feed delivered my order the next day. Ooh, well, at least you got the noon now. I definitely had to hit the noon today when I got back from my run because I was just super thirsty. I'm still in like spring and winter running mode where on my workouts, I don't usually bring any water or any hydration, just like one gel maybe. On longer runs, I might bring 2, maybe 3, but that's about it. The water fountains are on along the lakefront path, but I haven't been availing myself to them. And by the time I got home today, I was parched and I just wanted sugary, salty drinks. So I just been chugging ever since I got back. And now I'm exhausted. So I got my afternoon coffee. All right. Peachy1980 says, Hi Kapuzi, how's it going? I'm doing well. Pete, thanks for asking. All right. I'm going to scroll down. Hopefully I haven't missed too many of your guys' chats. I do appreciate Randon Lewis every day saying everyone leave a like. That's always helpful for live streams, because I think when the chat gets pushed up there, it's easy to like forget to like the stream. So if you guys have a second, minimize the chat window for just a second and then hit the like button, and then you can pull up the chat again. So thanks everyone, Randon, for saying that every single day. Luis says that Ben Park also just hit the 100,000 subs. Awesome. So congratulations to him. Oh, we got to get, there we go. Some sound effects for that. Congratulations to Ben on hitting that 100,000 subs. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Awesome. Very exciting. Very exciting. Let's see. Nataku says, Hey, Ko, love the review on the Float Ride 4. I ran 200 miles in on version 3, and I love it. You're spot on. Good for short runs, but valuable. Got mine for $60. We'll get the 4 when colors come out. Yeah, I mean, like, I forgot to put into the video for today about the Float Ride 4. Like, I'm bored with it, but I'm like a running nerd, and I'm at that kind of like, I'm not entertained by this shoe kind of thing, but I want to still impress upon people that, like, for the vast majority of people, it's a great choice. It's just not my preference, and I'm a little bit bored by it because it's been the same shoe for like 3 years for me now. But it really works well. And the great thing about it is, like, the Float Ride is frequently eligible on Reebok's sales, and they frequently have a lot of sales. And so you could, even though like it's not regularly marked down for the Float Ride 3, you can, if you find like a coupon, like right now there's like a 30% or 40% like sale going on. You just go to the website and you can, it tells you what the promo code is, and you can bring that price down. I don't know if the 4 is participates in that or eligible for that. Maybe it is, but either way, both of the shoes are so close that, like, if you find some of the 3 on sale, get the 3. If you find some of the 4 on sale, get the 4. It's just like a steady supply of a really reliable shoe if that shoe works for you. So I love what they're doing, but I'm like, at some point it kind of starts to feel like Skechers Performance. It's like, when is there going to be a Razor 4? No more Razor 3, Razor 3 XS, Razor 3 whatever. There's all the Razor 3 Plus. There's all these different ones. At some point, I get it. Like, if you keep the same mold of the, now I guess the XS is a little bit different of a mold of the shoe, of the midsole foam. But I get it. If you keep the same one, the more and more that you produce, the cheaper it is per unit cost. And then you can kind of recoup some of the initial investment from it. And then maybe that money then goes to fund other shoe projects. I think I understand how all that works. But at some point, they're going to have to, like, I don't guess they don't have to. What if the Reebok Float Ride stays the same for like the next 6 years, and we get like the Reebok Float Ride 10, same as the last 9 that came before it, like, or the 8? Because the Float Ride 1, I think, was very different, but after that, then it's been kind of the same. So, it's a good shoe, and so I'm hoping that video reaches a lot of people who probably don't watch a lot of running YouTube videos. So I'm hoping that they kind of find it there. So. Yeah, I wasn't really sure how I really wanted to approach it, but yeah, it is a good shoe, and I know it's working for a lot of you. All right, Danny J says, I didn't run, but I did do a 40-minute tempo on the elliptical. Does that count? Injury life continues. I think I think that counts as, like, your cross training, and especially if you're injured. It's a great no impact way of doing it. Yeah, I go back and forth on whether I love the elliptical or whether I think it's ridiculous. I do think that the Elliptic Go, the one where you do the elliptical outside, I think that one looks ridiculous. Even if Aisha Protlier is using hers and she makes it look a little bit cooler, I still think it kind of looks a little bit ridiculous. I understand it works for some people. Awesome. I don't see myself ever wanting to purchase one. But the regular elliptical, I feel like there's a very solid place and use case for that. So yeah. Brian Castro says, "Hey, Fuzzy, just got my Path hat today. Awesome! Can't wait to test on my next run. Very, very cool. Thanks for the support. Hope you love it." Let's see. I am half Pedro says, "Good afternoon, everyone. 880 versus 1080. I love my 1080 version 10, but after a bit, I'm tempted to try the 880. Thanks." So like, I feel like the 1080 is just like a little bit more comfortable than the 880. And so like, if your mileage is a little bit higher, you might prefer the 1080. If you like a little bit more cushion underfoot, you're going to prefer the 1080 over the 880, but a lot of the use case overlaps. The one area where I feel like the 880 clearly shines over the 1080 is in like the weight and kind of like the agility of the shoe. So if you want that shoe to also do, say, some speed work, maybe some pace changes, just doing a lot of strides, or maybe you want to also have a shoe that you can bring to the track every once in a while, like that's a shoe that's going to do it. I don't know that the 1080 is not going to be a slouch, but it wouldn't be like a choice that I would make. Like I would probably want something else. The 880 would be like, that's a good choice. Yeah, I could see that. That's good. So that's kind of how I'd feel if I saw someone like rolling up to speed work day in the 880s. So that's kind of like how I'm looking at it. I think that also for some people who are heavier foot strikers, if you're really slapping the ground a little bit, maybe you need a little bit more for the 1080. But it just kind of like depends on what your preferences are. See, of the 880, 1080, more 3, I still kind of feel like, you should get 2 out of the 3, but probably not all 3. And so like for me, it makes the most sense to get the 880 and the more. I haven't seen the more version 4 yet, more 4, but that's just takes a weird named shoe, the more, and then now there's a version 4. See, I don't think they thought that through. But you got the 880 and then the more, I think, is a good pairing. The 1080 and the more makes a little bit less sense. An 880 and a 1080 maybe doesn't make it, because there's so much overlap. So I don't know. But I know that there's some of you, like Jackie in the chat, loves the 1080 series. And so for Jackie, I think that's his like daily trainer and his marathon racer. So, I mean, I think that there's also room for sure for people to be like, this shoe just works for me. And I think that that's the 1080 for a lot of people. But personally, I'd like having the 880 and the more version 3. But again, to kind of like waver back and forth, I do really like the 1080 this year. Frank says, the Floatride 3s are my hate shoe at the moment. I'm just running in them to get rid of them. Yeah. I mean, I definitely have some shoes where I'm doing that. And the Floatride 3 just didn't excite me. I think that like, I don't know, like I think looking forward to like next year's Floatrides. I mean, I know I just reviewed the Floatride 4. But I think that like if they're like, hey, do you want to review the Floatride 5? And it's going to be, pretty much the same outsole, I might say, let's hold off on that. Send me the Grow instead. Because the Grow does feel like a little bit different. And I just would rather kind of like help them push that shoe and like that aspect of their lineup more than just the regular Floatride, unless they really change it for next year. But that's me as someone that's, I guess, kind of like bored of like reviewing the same shoe. It's like when people do like a Brooks Ghost review. I mean, like, I think, was it last year or this year is going to be changing? Like, then it's like worth talking about. But for the most part, like, they don't change that shoe ever because they sell so many of them and people just want that same shoe over and over again. So like, it's a shoe that I've been staying away from because I'm like, what can you say about it? I don't know. All right. That running guy says, just ordered the Puma Velocity Nitro 2. I enjoy that one. And the Endorphin Pro 2. Trying shoes other than Nike. There you go. Spreading it around. Yeah. Speaking of the Endorphin Pro 2, my 100-mile video is going to be coming out on that. That'll be, what's today, Wednesday? So that'll come out on Friday. And the Velocity Nitro 2, that's going to be a good one. A lot of people have been asking for 880 versus the Nitro 2. And so that'll be a video that maybe comes out next week. I'm not sure. with the New York trip in there, that kind of throws off like my schedule of shoes. But that is a versus video that I think a lot of people are really going to like. And I think, I mean, I know who I'm going to pick already, kind of. But you know, I gotta do a couple more runs in each of them, or at least one more run in each of them. I've run in each of them a couple times now to get a real sense of them directly head to head. But I mean, the use cases on those two shoes are going to overlap quite a bit. So, yeah. All right. Let's see. I saw Eliza says, Kofuzi, will you be running the Falmouth Road Race again this year? I will. So I will be back in Boston like that weekend overall in August, and then going down to Falmouth like for the race. I don't know if it'll be exactly the same as how we set it up last year, or not how we set it up, how it was set up for me for last year. But yeah, it is on my calendar. Let's see. Dad Runner Al says he ran 4 miles to trail run in the Speedgoat 5s. Wow, feels great in the road as well. It's a good shoe. I'm really wanting to put a lot more miles into the Speedgoats. I mean, that's just a fun shoe. It's like, I don't know how it can do everything so well. It just feels great no matter what you're doing. I mean, I guess I suppose if I were trying to do like speed work in it, I would maybe not love it. But if I were trying to put in some like hill work on the trails, you know, trying to get a little bit aggressive, I think it would still work. Some like road to trail kind of work, I think that would also be great. Light grassy trails, good. More technical trails, also good. I'm just a really big fan. I'm a really big fan of the Speedgo 5. All right. Shannon says, my path hat is waiting on my front porch. I look dumb in hats. Good thing it says not elite, so the expectations of looking like anything else are low. Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Shannon. I hope you really enjoy the hat. I'm trying to think. Do I have my phone? Oh, yeah, I have my phone with me. Flores texted me yesterday, and he said, let's see, that I got an update on sales. That as of yesterday, a little bit after the live stream yesterday, already 367 of the hats have been sold. I am shocked. That is way more than I don't know how many they made. That's more than I thought that they had made. So the fact that they've already sold that many, I'm feeling a little bit like overwhelmed is not the right word, and shocked is not the right word, but like not overwhelmed, but fully whelmed. Like my whelm is full. Like it's just wow. I'm humbled, you know. Thank you guys. Mandy Paria LeBlanc says, hello, hope everyone's having a great day. Any ideas when the Peg 39 will be available? I think it depends on where you live. So Nike has been releasing shoes in Japan and the UK first before anywhere else. That's something that they've been doing since before the pandemic. And I think that with the pandemic, that's something that they're continuing to do. Sometimes Australia is kind of included in that too. Sometimes Australia gets shoes even later than the US. I feel sorry for the Aussies because I feel like sometimes you guys are just like the forgotten runners. In the US, usually the Pegasus comes out in June. So, I mean, that's not that far. It's because it's May 11th already. So it's like, it should be like within the next month. I just watched the Runner's Warehouse video on it, and the updates are kind of like what I expected. Where it's like, you know, in addition to the 4-foot Zoom Air pocket, now there's a rear Zoom Air pocket. The one thing I don't know is the Zoom Air pocket in the heel. Is it one of the new Zoom Air pockets that they put in the starting in like the Peg 37, or is it one of the old Zoom Air pockets? Either way, I think anything where we can get rid of a little bit more of the React foam is going to be an improvement. I just think that there's too much React foam in that shoe. And so hopefully they've gotten rid of some of it. I don't know. The 38 just really, I bought 2 different pairs of them. Both of them really disagreed with me. I'm hoping that whatever. I think if I get the 39 and it bothers my foot again, I think I'm definitely going to cut it open and see what's going on in there. My suspicion on that Has anyone seen anyone cut open a Peg 38 or a Peg 37? My suspicion is that the Zoom Air Pocket is not like really extensively glued down. So I wonder if sometimes like the pocket maybe isn't getting seated properly, and maybe that's one of the problems I had, or maybe mine came like popped. I don't know. Yeah. So like I'm optimistic about the 39, but not excited about it. I'm hoping for. I just wanted to feel like a Pegasus again. Yeah. I don't know. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's good. All right. Let me keep scrolling down. Corey says that the Pegasus is a completely different shoe now. I mean, I think with the React foam, I think, is the thing. Like, I would love to see the Pegasus go the way of the Vomero 16, where it's that, like, what is it, SRO2 plus ZoomX and Zoom Air. Like, that would be a lot of stuff. I mean, that, too, sounds like a red flag to me. They're like, why does it need to have, like, 4 things in there? I guess it would be 3 things. But, like, I love the feel of the Vomero 16. It is my favorite Nike shoe of last year. But I didn't test any of the race shoes. So, like, of the daily trainers, that was my favorite one. And it's more Pegasus-like than the Pegasus was. So I feel like that's a direction, like, to have a clear example of, like, here's another way we could go other than React. But I wonder if, like, well, we bought all this React. We've contracted for this many million units of it. So we got to put it somewhere. I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking like, put it in some Huarachis or something like that. Like, I don't know. It's not working for me in the Pegasus. I don't know if they need to abandon it, but we'll see what happens this year. Stevie76 says, got my Path hat yesterday. Awesome. Thanks for getting one, Stevie. Jason Dahl said, I didn't like the 38, so I'm trying the Vomero 16 instead of waiting for the 39. Kind of bittersweet. I've been wearing the Pegasus for a long time. I hear you exactly. I hear you absolutely exactly. But like, if you were missing on that old Pegasus feel and you want something new from Nike, it's the Vomero 16. I think, yeah. Hopefully you're liking it. And Louis says, I'm still trying to get some miles on my Peg 37. That shoe was a shoe that I was like running in just to run in the miles to get some more miles in it, and it just never got better, and I just stopped running in it. No, was it that? No, it was the 38 that I did that in. Yeah. So, yeah. But, you know, I mean, life's too short to run in shoes you don't like sometimes. Naeem Harib says, how can 39 iterations of the same shoe not diverge from the original Pegasus concept? Well, it diverges quite a bit. That's for sure. Different materials, different preferences over the years. But I would say that there's a very, like, Pegasus like feel. Part of it's the tall stack height. Part of it's the squishy forefoot, the little like kind of bubble in the forefoot, even on the years when they didn't have. I mean, I guess I didn't run in it in years that they didn't have Zoom Air. But like all the years from like 32 is when I started running in the Pegasus on. There's been a Pegasus feel to it. The cramped toe box, the tall drop height, quick turnover. Like there's I know a Pegasus when I feel it, you know. But there are there's ways to maintain that, even using new materials, new technologies, to make improvements, you know, and still kind of keep that same thing. So that's the challenge. And I think that like my feeling is that there's a lot of brands, and I think I've seen this from, I mean, I only don't know, I haven't spoken with like product teams from a ton of different brands, but it seems like, you know, when there's a successful shoe, especially one that's been around, I think once it gets to like over like 15 to 20s, that's when it starts to kind of get this like hero status, where it's like you just don't mess it up. It's better to have like a really, you know, like uneventful update than one that could potentially alienate people. And like that's when I think that things start to get stale. So yeah. Eric says, what is up? Tuning in with some Noon Rest tablet. First time. It's okay. Overkill. Yeah, I don't know. The Noon Rest ones never really jumped out at me as being rest-like. Brett says, got my hat yesterday. Awesome. Path makes great stuff. Nice work, Co. I mean, I'm super thrilled with the hat because like, um, I have two of the Big Ben trucker hats, like the first one and then the second one, and then I have two of the other one where it looks, it's kind of like a CLE hat, but the brim is like a regular length. I have two of those, and I forget what that one's called. And I love those. And then I do have like the Billy Yang one and then the regular version of that one. So I've got like 6 or 7 Path hats. And those are it's always a really super easy choice to just pick one of those. This is a CLE hat. That was a gift, but also works out really well. But the Path does make really great hats. Jeff wants to know, what was the last Pegasus you liked? I would say the Path. I liked the 37. I think though that I got really caught up in the fact that awesome. I love React Foam. I love the Pegasus. React with Pegasus. But I want to say, like, looking back in further kind of like retrospect, I think the 36 was probably my favorite one. I don't know. Corey says also the Adidas Boston series is doing the same thing as the Pegasus. Yeah, I think I had so much high hopes for the Boston with Light Strike, but now that it's a Boston with all Light Strike, I'm like, I wish they hadn't listened so much to what the people asked for. Same thing with the Pegasus. People were like, when are you going to put React in the Pegasus? And then they're like, all right, we put a lot in there. And then people are like, or people like me are like, I don't know if I like this one. So, yeah, I hear what you're saying, Corey. I would agree with that. I'm at like 50 miles in the Boston, and I'm like, do I like running in this shoe? I'm not sure. I like it. I like it for 5K work, but I don't do that much of that. So it's like, I don't like it for marathon training. I don't know. All right. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Nataku says, I need some tips for staying cool during my runs. A dramatic shift to the heat wave this week has been intense for a new runner like me. Yeah, I think that I saw this question early and I couldn't find it. So thanks for reposting. I think if you're new, just be easy, be kind to yourself. So like for the first, like as you're acclimating to the new temperatures and humidity, just know that it's going to affect your heart rate. It's going to affect your perceived effort level. Everything's just going to feel a little bit harder, and that's totally okay. That's normal. That's just part of your body getting used to the heat. So that's one thing, but eventually it kind of will, to an extent. As we get to like the full-on summer, you're going to want to try and move those workouts if you can earlier in the day so the heat isn't so oppressive. Otherwise, when you do those workouts, if they are later in the day, you're going to have to adjust some of the expectations so that way, you're working your body the right amount and not overworking the body because you're doing a workout and not compensating for heat. So those are some things that I would think about. The other thing is, switch up materials. So I love half tights and I love full tights. But once we get to like craziest parts of summer, that's when I'm looking at the split shorts. I have been known to put on the 2-inch shorts every once in a while. But that's kind of like change the materials, get lighter, bring more fluid and hydration, so like those are some of the adjustments that you can make. It's not going to be long. For like the amount of time in the year where I'm wearing short sleeve shirts to run is very small. So I go from like jackets and like long sleeve shirts, and then there's a little bit of time where short sleeve, and then it's all like singlets or even no shirt, just because like that's such some of the ways to kind of stay cool. Remy's like 2-inch shorts, the 2-inch split shorts for life. Remy loves the 2-inch shorts, but I think he's got the legs to show them off, so so he can handle it. Danny J says, take it from a Tucson runner. For sunny runs, keep the sun off the skin, light colored, tight-fitting, breathable clothing, white, yellow, and red. It's counterintuitive, but the long sleeve is better. I suppose that does make a lot of sense to keep it covered up too. My main thing though is like in a more humid place, when things get really sweaty, they get real clammy. Tucson, I think, is at elevation, right? So the humidity might be a little bit different. And so I think like places that are more arid, oh, that makes complete sense. But I would say like the caveat being like if it's super humid, um, it's just like even just today I was running out there in half tights and a singlet testing out some new Janji stuff, and I was drenched, and the singlet didn't bother me that much being drenched. It still was like nice and flowy. So even though it was wet and covered in sweat, I didn't feel uncomfortable. But like on my half tights, the moisture kind of like drips down. And so like I felt like a ring of like sweat weight, like at the bottom of it. It wasn't a ton, but like you could just start feeling like, yeah, these are like the limitations of half tights. So. Yeah, Danny says Tucson is about 3,000 feet. That's really, really high for me. But I'm guessing it's a little bit more arid. But that's something that I'll have to remember. I do have some trips to elevation coming up this summer. So I'm going to have to remember that tip, Danny, to make sure I keep it covered up. Yeah, so I don't fry myself while I'm out there. Yeah, I have not been wearing sunscreen. Don't tell my wife. But I have not been wearing a lot of sunscreen so far yet this year. I gotta make sure I get back in on that. Eric Trapp says new Janji gear review. Yeah, they sent a bunch of stuff. I think that I'll be able to get through testing all of it this week because the temperatures are going to be hot enough. And so, yeah, hopefully like maybe mid next week we'll see a little bit of a Janji review. Yeah, Tucson a little more arid. I mean, it's a desert city, right? I mean, but yeah, I don't think I've ever been there, so I didn't want to. But I guess it's Arizona. But I mean, are there parts of Arizona that are not desert? Yeah, like Flagstaff. Is it technically a desert? I don't know how much precipitation Flagstaff gets. I just don't know. I'm really bad with geography. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, Eric says, nice. Can't wait. The recent drop has been great. Yeah, I mean, I feel like Janji has hit a new gear in terms of like a machine gear, Like they just like found a new groove, and I'm really excited about what they've been making lately. So pretty cool. Renner Dre's here says, I'm really impressed with the quality of the Path Kofuzi hat. It's pretty roomy. Awesome. Thanks for getting one, and I'm glad you're enjoying it so far. Thank you. Mr. Ram says, Kofuzi, are you planning on reviewing the Peg 39 and the Saucony Ride 15? Love the Janji bottoms for all the pockets. The Janji bottoms have gotten much better with pockets. I'm really appreciating that. So yeah, both Janji and Path. Since we were just talking about Path, I like both of the brands because I feel like those are brands that are like, okay, these are pants that are made by people that actually run and don't just like have a locker room where they could store all this stuff and then come out to the track to run. Like these are people that are like leaving their house and might need keys, might need a phone with them, that kind of thing. So very, very, very practical. In terms of the Peg 39 and the Ride 15, yes, for sure. I've had the Ride 15 in my house for a while. I'm going to probably shoot the B-roll for it tonight. And then I think I'm going to be running in it tomorrow. So that video will, I think, come out probably next week. A lot of videos to come out next week. So yeah, so that's coming soon. I mean, there's 4 shoes that are sitting in the bedroom right now that I'm just waiting to get them kind of into the lineup for filming. So I've got the Ride 15 I'm still waiting on. Well, I have it. I just have to film it and run in it. And then ASICS sent me a bunch of shoots, Glide Ride, Evo Ride, and the Noosa. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a separate video on the Noosa. Maybe I'll do like a brick day where I'll like ride the bike and then hop into a pair of Noosa. To do that, I don't know. I'm not sure. But like, so there's like, that's 4 shoes right there. And, we're getting into the more exciting part of the running shoe release calendar, So, like, there's just a lot of shoes out there that I want to try. And there's still, like, a bunch that I just started running in that I want to put more miles in. So it's a very exciting time. Remy says, how come all the path stuff is black? Can I get something in pink, orange, yellow? How about blue? A lot of their stuff is also gray. But those are my two favorite colors. I think some of their t-shirts now are starting to get available in colors kind of like this shirt. What is this, like charcoal or like heather? I guess just other variants of gray. But yeah, that they're I don't think that they're gonna have a pink path anything in the near future. I'm not sure. But you know who has been doing a lot in terms of colors is Janji, who we've also been talking about today. They've been doing a lot of stuff with color that I really like in their palette right now. I'm trying to think, is there anything pink? There's that kind of like maroonish color that's kind of, it looks like pink to me sometimes. So that might be it, but probably not the kind of pink that you're talking about. There are some like more like copper colors, and then yellow. I don't know if there's yellow, but Craft has a lot of really great yellow, and Rabbit has a lot of really great pink. So those are some other brands that I would look at. Jadron says, I was just looking at that. Not much choice on the path colors. Yeah, but when you got the two best ones already locked down, then I don't know. Maybe, but I'm a big fan of the black and gray that path provides. Just makes it really easy to travel with, to live with. I don't know. I like it. Yeah, Eric says, the path double-edged sword. All the gear matches with everything, though, because it's all the basic neutral colors. That's true. Yeah. Let's see. Ooh, Frank says, speaking of Tucson Flagstaff, who won Cocodona? And Eric says it was Joe. I don't know who that is. Conahy? AKA String Bean won Cocodona. Dad Owner Al says that the Rabbit stuff is nice. I think that Rabbit also kind of turned a corner too. Like, remember when all their stuff was super, super sheer? It's almost silky. It was okay, but then once it got sweaty, it just stuck to you, and I didn't love that. It did cool off relatively quickly. It evaporated well, but the fit was always kind of a little bit felt weird to me. And then something happened when all of a sudden I'm just everything they make I like. And so they've been doing some really good work. Shannon says, I love the hat because I wear it with everything every day. It's more socially acceptable to not wash after every wear than shirts. Yeah, I agree. The hats are easy. There's fewer sizing issues. And so it's a little bit, there's less, you kind of buy one size and you don't have to worry about how many smalls, how many extra smalls, how many mediums. So I think from the other side of it, from kind of the producer side of it, I think it makes it easier. But I also do like the hat because you can just wear them a lot, and yeah, if people see the same hat multiple times, it doesn't bother them, But Adam says, I don't like hats. My head gets hot, prefer visors, I have a high hairline, born with it, so I can get a burn above the visor and below the hairline. Oh, really? I'm starting to get a high hairline too. I was not born with it. I used to have a widow's peak, believe it or not. So, Eddie Munster. My hair looked a lot like Eddie Munster's for a lot of my life, I would say. Yeah. Do you ever put anything underneath the visor? Well, I guess that would defeat the purpose of keeping things cooler, though. I don't know. I feel with the visor, I feel I've never met a visor that looked good on me. It always kind of does weird things to my hair, so I've never liked visors very much. I wish they worked for me, but they don't. And then I have really dark colored hair, so I feel I don't know, when I wear a black hat, I don't feel it attracts so much of the sun's heat as when if I have just regular without a hat. My hair always feels hot on a very hot summer day because it's absorbing all the light. I don't know. I never get that with a hat though. Eric says, speaking of hats, I've yet to be converted, air quotes, by a stylish bucket hat. I think they look mostly idiotic, but I understand they would protect my Dumbo ears. Yeah, I am envious of the people who can pull off the bucket hat look. I don't think that I can do it. I think that it always just looks like I'm like an old dude that wants to go fishing. Whenever I put on a bucket hat, it just never looks right on me. Um, I bought one from Mission. I don't. Where did that hat go? Do I still have it? It was like an SPF hat, like a cooling hat. Like if you got the hat wet and then put it on, it should, as it evaporates, it's supposed to cool you off. But like that one was a wider brimmed hat, so I wouldn't exactly call it a bucket hat. But that one I felt like looked funny on me. I always felt like the wind would always blows my bucket hat, so the front flows up like Blossom. You remember that show? So like I just the bucket hat and me, lots of challenges, lots of challenges. Mm. All right. Let's see. Lou says, where'd it go? It just jumped. Oh, Lou says, I have to wear hats. I'm bald. And sometimes the sunscreen just melts away. That makes a lot of sense, too. I know my brother-in-law is bald, and he puts a lot of sunscreen on his head. But he's also a very sweaty guy, so he's always like, it's always getting in my eyes. He should wear more hats. He usually wears a bucket hat when I see him, if he's going like fishing or hiking or something like that. Yeah. Brandon said, I took everyone's advice and got a Junk Brands headband, and it was a game changer. I was looking at mine today. My hair is almost long enough that I could like pull it up again after the haircut. So I'm very much looking forward to that. But I think like now, it's also at a really annoying length when it's not up right now. So I think that I might be relying on the headbands to kind of like keep some of the hairs that don't make it into the ponytail from staying. I don't know. It's just the hair is frustrating me right now. I'm very tempted just like, let's just shave it for the summer. It's going to be hot. So I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. What else we got here? Frank says, I'm bald, but just not bald enough that the remaining hair gets in the way of the... okay. The remaining hair gets in the way of the sunscreen. I think that's a good... It's good like middle ground, I guess. Brett says, sweaty and bald as well. Sunscreen is a no-go. Right into the eyes. Hats are a must in the summer. Yeah, like I haven't been wearing the sunscreen. I've been wearing the hats backwards a lot. And I definitely have like this part of my head is much more tan than the little strip underneath here. It's just permanent at this point. Not permanent, I guess, if I just started putting sunscreen on. By the time we get to like maybe by the end of the summer, it'll fix itself. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. So I basically always have to wear a hat now, or I have like a very strange hat tan line. Luke Klein said, asking for a friend, at the Shakeout with Ben Parks, is this going to be Crazy Run Club or is it his? I'm going to let Ben kind of like, run the show on that one. I'm not racing the following day, so I'm going to kind of like defer to him to see what he wants to do. So like I texted him about it. I'm like, are we going to do like a big shakeout or whatever? And he's been kind of like, I don't know if he just doesn't think that people will go or want to be there. And I'm like, I think that we can get like a really big group, but maybe I'll text him again. But I know he's trying to race fast the following day, and it's going to be Friday in the afternoon for the Saturday morning race, so it'll be pretty close in time. And he was just kind of like, yeah, I'm going to go to the expo at this time, and if you want to meet up and run afterwards, let's do it. And I was like, okay. So I mean, just kind of let him kind of do it however he wants to do it. And I guess if he wants help or anything, since I'm, I guess, more of the home team, relatively speaking, I can certainly help out with some of the other logistics, I guess. But yeah, I don't know like how big of like he's like, I think that there might be like a couple of people that want to run, and I'm like, I don't know about that. I think we could get a big group if he wants one. I don't know. So I don't know. I'll follow up with him to see. But I'm not driving on this one because Ben invited me. He wanted me to come out since he was going to be out in the U.S., so I wouldn't miss the opportunity. If he's come all this way, the least I can do is come out that way, especially since I've got family kind of in the area. So, all right, let's do a couple more, and then we'll get going for the day. Shannon wants to know, did Ben hit 100K? Someone was saying earlier that he did, so congratulations to Ben about that. And then Lou says, how will we find out about where and when? I'm going to kind of, again, I guess I got to follow up with Ben and see if he's going to make like an announcement for it. And then, but it's going to be Friday. It's going to be the day before on Friday. I don't know if he gets in Thursday or Friday. I'm going to be going out Thursday, I think. See my mom and dad, staying at their place in New Jersey. I think that I'm going to run to the shakeout from my parents' house. The way I mapped it, it's going to be like 15 miles. So I'll be very gross by the time I see you guys. But once, like, I figure, if he wants to, I'm not going to kind of scoop him on, making an announcement for it. So whenever he's ready, then, I'll let you guys know as well. But, I kind of want to see what he wants to do. All right. Eric says, the informal review, noon rest, a little gritty at the end. Might be good for Philly runners. What does that mean for Philly runners? But I will agree with you that the noon rest does get gritty at the end. There's there's part of it that's not dissolving completely, and it gets a little bit like, there's like not film, but these little like floaters kind of things in there. Yeah, I agree with you, Eric. All right. Runner Will says, for sure I'm driving out there. LOL. I'm trying to see if if he wants to make it bigger, I feel like we should call up Emily and see if she wants to come out. I'd love to see Emily anyway, but I don't know if he wants to keep it smaller or what. I don't know if he just wants to go for a run with I don't know if he was thinking just run me and him. Because I've done that with Jamie and Seth, if that's what he was thinking of. So, I'm trying not to commandeer what he's doing. So I just want to respect what he's doing. I might try and do something else that weekend. I don't know. I'll have to look at the calendar, see kind of what it is. Here's the other thing. Saturday night is the track meet at Icon Stadium on whatever it is, that little island out there. They did it last year when they did the media mile. This year there's a race called Tortoise and the Hare, where they'll pick 10 people from the stands, and you have to race at 300 meters, and there's going to be an unnamed pro that has to run 400 meters, and the goal is to not get beat. And I'm like, they gotta go find the slowest pro for me to be able to be competitive in that. You're going to have to spot me more than 100 meters. But so I'm like, oh, that could be a fun thing to do on Saturday night. I think it's Saturday night. So I don't know. I'm debating whether or not I'm going to go to that. So we'll see. All right. Let me get some more. Eric says, Gritty is the mascot for the Philadelphia Flyers. I get it. He's terrifying. I know who you're talking about now. In Chicago, the local news is obsessed with how unhinged the Philly Flyers mascot is. I didn't know that's what his name was, but I've seen many clips of some of his antics. All right. All right, let me talk to Ben, see what he wants to do. I'll get some more information for you guys. And that's going to be it for today. Tomorrow, no video, but we'll do a live stream for happy hour because it's Thursday. I'm thinking it's probably going to be noon because it's going to be another hot one here in Chicago. So I'm going to need some more electrolytes. And until then, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.